With so many vehicles on the road every day, can one driver really make a difference? The Cornwall Carbon Reduction Initiative, CCRI, has the answers, and it's ready to guide drivers in the right direction to reducing their vehicle's carbon footprint while saving them money that would otherwise go up in smoke. The CCRI 5-part mini-series, A Driving Force, will showcase a range of vehicular improvements and greener alternatives to everyday traveling. So buckle up and enjoy the ride. Dr. Jeff Rydell, the Chief Research Scientist at the St. Lawrence River Institute of Environmental Sciences, has spent his career studying the various impacts facing the environment. He is the go-to guy when questions need answers, like what is vehicular pollution and how does it impact the planet?
Greenhouse gases are those gases that have the ability to take the energy that the Earth is actually radiating back into space and convert it into heat. And therefore, when it happens, it warms up our atmosphere. There are many of those greenhouse gases, but the one that we know best is CO2, because that's the one that we contribute to the most, or have contributed to the most. In fact, fossil fuel burning since the Industrial Revolution has really made a significant impact on the CO2 levels in the atmosphere. How do tailpipe emissions affect us locally? One of the things that they've actually done in Toronto is, with a health study, shown that there's actually over 400 premature deaths a year caused by ground level pollution from tailpipe emissions. And that actually adds up to over $2 billion in extra health costs a year. So on a global level, of course, there are many, many different possible effects of tailpipe emissions because there are so many cars out there. So these NOx and SOx gases that are produced from tailpipe emissions, they actually go into the atmosphere, and when they combine with water vapor, they fall down as acid rain, which affects us on a global scale. As well as the CO2 that's produced, of course, from all these different car emissions will again produce an effect of increasing global warming. How can improving fuel consumption improve the environment? Well, driving is probably the #1 decision we make every day that affects our contribution to our carbon footprint. In fact, for every 1 liter of gasoline that we consume, we produce 2.4 kilograms of CO2. So if the average car has a gas consumption rate of 10 liters for every 100 kilometers we drive, that means for every 100 kilometers, there's 24 kilograms of CO2 that's produced. In North America, we produce about half of the world's amount of CO2 from car driving alone. That's because there are a lot of cars in North America. In fact, there's over 7 million cars in Ontario alone. If we improve fuel economy, for example, by taking cars that have an average of 10 liters of gasoline use per 100 kilometers driven, and we reduce that down to 5 kilometers per 100 use, which we know we can do, then that will actually halve the amount of the CO2 produced in North America towards global warming, and that'll have a significant impact. So one of the things that you can do if you want to find out what your carbon footprint is and how much CO2 you're putting out through your own driving habits is to go to the Cornwall Carbon Reduction Initiative website. There you can actually put in your own personal data for how much driving you do, how many cars you own, and how much contribution you make to CO2 in the atmosphere. Yeah, everyone can feel that just their own personal contribution doesn't make a difference. But the idea is that every little bit counts. And when you add it up, as I said, there are 7 million automobiles in Ontario and millions more in North America. So if we get everyone to make a little bit of a change, together that can have a significant impact.
That concludes this installment of the Cornwall Carbon Reduction Initiative, A Driving Force public service announcements. For further information on climate change and greenhouse gas reduction, contact the CCRI at 613-932-2088 or visit www.cornwallcarbonreduction.ca.